Good morning all the students. Last time we started with question number 3. All the students please pay attention. In question number 3, first we did working note 1 and 2. Now I request all the students to first go through the question again for 2 minutes, and thereafter we will proceed further with working note 3 and answer part. Please read question number 3 once again for 2 minutes and recollect all the data given in the question. Now all the students pay attention. In question number 3, working note number 1, last time we found out the payment of salary per month or month-wise payment of salary. The second one was month-wise payment of other expenses. Now today in working note 3 we will find out what is the month-wise purchase and its payment. So please write down working note 3. Purchases and its payment. First of all we will find out that what is the purchase amount every month, and thereafter when these purchases are paid. Now there are 6 months, we have to prepare cash budget for the next 6 months. So please make 7 columns. The first column is for particulars and 6 column for next 6 months. Now to find out purchase, you can use this equation. Please see here. We know that opening stock plus purchases of raw material plus minus closing stock is cost of goods sold. Opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock is cost of goods sold. That implies purchases will be equal to cost of goods sold plus closing stock minus opening stock. And to find out cost of goods sold, we can deduct gross profit from sales. We are given data of sales, so sales minus gross profit, this is also given. That will give us cost of goods sold, then plus closing stock minus opening stock. So to find out purchases, first we will take sales. From sales deduct the gross profit, it will give you cost of goods sold. and then add the closing stock and deduct the opening stock. It will give you purchase. So first of all we'll take sales, deduct gross profit, add closing stock and deduct opening stock. So please write down first sales, as far as January is concerned, see point number A, you are given all the sales. In the question, please see point number A. Sale is 10,000, then 15,000 and 25,000 for next 4 months. Okay. Now please see the question. The gross profit rate is given. This gross profit rate is 20% of sales. So minus gross profit, it is 20% of sales. So it is 2,000, 3,000 and 5,000. Now whatever comes in that, add closing stock. Right now please don't deduct. We will add and deduct at the last. Now see the closing stock. Closing stock is given in point number D of the question. Plus closing stock. This is 10,000, 11,000 and 18,000. And then deduct opening stock. Opening stock of January will be the closing stock of December. So please see the balance sheet given in point number I. The balance sheet, in the balance sheet, closing stock of December is 9,000. So it will be 9,000 rupees. Then opening stock of February will be the closing stock of January, so it will be 10,000, then 11,000, 18,000, again 18 and 18,000. So it will give you purchases. Now please find out purchases. The last figure, it is 9,000, 13,000, and then 27,000 and then 20,000. So this is the purchases per month, and this purchase is at 1 month's credit. So payment will be made in the next month. So purchase is paid in month of. This 9,000 is the purchase of January. So it will be paid in the month of February, because according to the question, we purchase at 1 month's credit. So this 9,000 will be paid in February, this will be paid in March, April, May, June and July. So when we will prepare cash budget, these figures will go to the cash budget from February to June, and in January we will pay to the creditors of December. So please see the creditors of December given in the balance sheet. It is 8,000. So 8,000 of creditors will be paid in January, and this purchase of 9,000 of January will be paid in February, and so on. By this we finished working note 3. So this is the purchase and this is the month in which it will be paid. Now students are requested to ask if they have any query. I hope there is no doubt. So now we will go for the answer. In the answer part, first of all we have to prepare cash budget for the next 6 months, and then we have to prepare budgeted or projected trading and profit loss account and balance sheet. Now please draw the format of cash budget having 7 columns, 1 column for particulars and 6 columns for 6 months. Please draw the format. First column is particulars, and then next is column January to June, the next 6 months. Now here there is slight change in the format, so all the students are requested to follow the format according to me. Normally we keep 1 row for opening balances, but here we will keep 2 rows. So first will be the opening cash balances or opening cash balance. Now this arrow, this row, first row is opening cash balance, where we will write fair balance, and thereafter keep 1 more line where we will write rough opening balance, because in this sum, according to point number F, all the students please see point number F of the question. It says that if there is any overdraft in any of the months, then the bank will allow overdraft of only 5,000 rupees, and any overdraft over and above 5,000 rupees will have to be managed by issuing shares to the chairman of the company. But how much amount of shares are to be issued to the chairman of the company, that is not given. That's why to find that amount, first of all we will find out rough opening and rough closing balance, and thereafter we'll find out how much is the amount of shares to be issued to the chairman, and then we'll make entry for that shares issued, and thereafter again we'll find out fair opening and fair closing balance. Clear? So right now please keep two lines. One is this arrow where we'll write fair opening balance and this rough opening balance. Thereafter write down add cash receipts only up to this. Thereafter please don't write further. Now first of all write down all the sources of cash receipts. In this question please see there is only one source of cash receipts right now, that is collection of credit sales. If you will see the question, there is no cash sale, all the sales are on credit, and the credit sale is at 2 months credit. Please see the information given below the balance sheet in point number I. Point number I says you that debtors are paying your money after 2 months. The credit sale to the debtor is 2 months. This point was explained last time. Again I am explaining. Please see the balance sheet. Debtors are 20,000 and below the balance sheet it is written that the sale for November and December of the previous year at 10,000 per month. It means this 20,000 of debtors in the balance sheet includes 10,000 of debtors of November and 10,000 of December. It means credit period is 2 months. Now please make entry for collection of credit sale. So collection from debtors. If the credit sale is 2 months, then in January we will collect the credit sales of November. Now that is 10,000 rupees according to the question. Same way in February we will collect the credit sale of December, which is also 10,000. But in March we will collect the sales of January. Now sale of January is also 10,000. Please see point number A of the question. Then it is 15,000. Sale of February will be collected in April, and then it is 25,000 and 25,000. Thereafter next source is issue of shares to chairman, but the amount we don't know, so keep it blank but leave one line or one row. The shares are issued in March, so we'll make entry for issue of shares in March later on because the amount is not known to us. After this, don't make a column for total receipt as usual, but directly write down less cash payments. Now please see working note 1. First working note is regarding payment of salary, so make entry for that. Payment of salary, refer working note 1, and this is 2000, 2000, 2000. Then it is 2875, then 3000 and 3000. Please refer working note 1. Then working note 2 is payment of other expenses. It is 800, 800, 800, then 1325, then 1500 and 1500. Then see the third working note. It is payment to creditors for credit purchase. payment to creditors for purchases. Now in January we will pay to the creditors of December. Please see the balance sheet. Creditors of December are 8,000. So write here 8,000. And the rest of the payment you can pick up from working note 3. In working note 3 you will find it is 9,000, 13,000, 27,000 and then 2020. This is 9,000, 13,000, 27,000 and then 20 and 20,000. Now please see point number C of the question. It is regarding payment of rent. Now annual rent is 2,000 rupees, but the rent is paid on quarterly basis. So quarterly rent will be 500 rupees. And the first quarter will be in March and second quarter will be in June. So 500 rupees in March and 500 in June. Payment of rent and the last payment is for purchase of fixed asset. Please see point number E. New fixed assets are purchased in the month of March worth rupees 30,000. So purchase of fixed asset by this all the expenses payment is covered. Total there are 5 payments and we have covered all the 5 payments. Now directly we will find out closing cash balance, and that will be the rough closing cash balance. So please draw a line and thereafter write down R. This is rough closing cash balance. And thereafter one more line, that will be closing cash balance. Show it by arrow and it will be the fair balance, which we will write later on. Now please see the opening cash balance given in the question. See the balance sheet. Cash on hand of December is 2,000. So opening cash balance of January will be 2,000. So please write against this R, it is 2,000. R means rough. Right now we are treating it as rough opening balance. Now in this opening balance, add cash receipt and deduct the cash balance, cash payment. You will find out the closing balance. Now that closing balance is 1,200. So write it in the row of rough closing balance, 1,200. Then it will become opening balance of February. Now find out balance of February, closing balance. It is 600 overdraft. Please go on doing like that. Then in the March it is 36,900 OD. In April the overdraft will be 53,100. In February it will be 52,600 OD overdraft, and in June also it will be 52,600 overdraft. Now, please see the position of balance or overdraft, that is closing cash balance or overdraft. Except January, in all other months there is overdraft. Now, we have to decide that how much amount of shares the company should issue to the chairman in the month of March, so that in none of the months there will be a problem of more than overdraft of 5,000. Now, to decide that, the maximum overdraft should be taken as base. Our maximum overdraft is 53,000, and at any given point of time bank will allow maximum of 5,000. So what will be the maximum deficit? It will be 48,100. So during the next 6 months, the maximum overdraft will be 53,100 and maximum OD allowed by bank is 5,000. So maximum deficit which the company will face will be 48,100. If we issue shares of 48,100 to the chairman, then this problem can be overcome. So the maximum amount of shares to be issued to the chairman will be 48,100. After issuing these shares to the chairman, we will find out the fair balance and we will see that whether the overdraft problem is solved or not. So let us make the entry, issue of shares to the chairman, and according to the question, we have to issue the share in the month of March. So make entry of issue of shares to the chairman in the month of March, that is 48,100. Now please cancel this rough balances, rough opening balance and rough closing balance. Now we will find out what is the rough and what is the fair opening and fair closing balance. Now please write here opening cash balance shown by arrow. Fair opening balance is 2,000. Now find out what is fair closing balance of January. It will be the same, 1,200. Here it is 1,200. Here it will be 600 OD. Then it is 600 OD. Now please find out what is the new balance, because we have made entry of 48,100 in March. So now it will give you balance of 11,200 after making entry of this issue of shares. In April there will be a OD of 5,000. Then in May there will be a OD of 4,500. And in June there will be OD of 4,500. So you can see that after issuing shares of 48,100 to the chairman, the fair closing balance shows that maximum OD in any of the next 6 months is only 5,000, and that 5,000 is given by the bank. So the problem of more than 5,000 OD is solved. Now the students are requested to ask if there is any query. Otherwise, the cash budget is over, and now we will start with projected trading and profit loss account and projected balance sheet. Please ask your query if any. I hope there is no doubt, so please proceed for the format of trading and profit loss account and balance sheet. All the students, please draw this format. First is budgeted trading and profit and loss account. First will be the trading account, that is above the line, and then profit and loss account below the line, and then balance sheet. This trading and profit and loss account are for the next 6 months only, and balance sheet is as on 30th June. Now when you make entry in trading and profit loss account and balance sheet, please change your mindset and make the entry on accrual basis and not on cash basis. When you make entry in cash budget, it should be on cash basis, but here you have to make entry on accrual basis because it is final account for the 6 months. Now first start with opening stock. See the balance sheet of December, the closing stock is 9,000, so opening stock will be 9,000 rupees. Then make total of all the purchases of first 6 months. See working note 3. 2 purchases. Please make total of all the purchases. It will be 1,09,000 rupees. पेन ले आओ बीजी, नहीं चल रही थी, जल्दी ले आओ नहीं तो बंद कर दो लेक्चर. पेन ले आओ. હા નથી ચાલતી કેટલી વાર. હા ગમે તે કેટલી વાર પેન ચાલતી જ નથી, કેટલી વાર કીધું મેં, એક પણ પેન ચાલતી નથી. 300 જેનો વિષય એને કહો, જેનો વિષય એને કહો. આટલી બધી વાર કીધા પછી સમજતા નથી. જેને આવતું હોય એને. Now please see, next is sales. See working note 3, make total of all the sales, it will be 1,25,000. Now make entry for gross profit. In the question it is said that gross profit is 20% on sales. So please count 20%. Gross profit 20% on sales. So 20% of 1,25,000 will be 25,000. Now we have entered all the items on debit side. Make total of debit side and the difference on credit side will be the closing stock. Total of debit side is 1,43,000. Deduct 1,25,000, the resultant figure is 18,000. So closing stock is 18,000, which is the balancing figure, difference of both the sides. Now bring down the gross profit. $25,000. Now in P&L account, debit all other indirect expenses. Now please see the question. The first expense is salary. Now you can see that for first 3 months it is 2,000 and for next 3 months it is 3,000. So to salary, this 2,000 into 3 plus 3,000 into 3. So total will be 15,000. Next is rent. It is 500 and 500, total 1,000. 500 rupees in first quarter and 500 in second quarter. So it is 1,000. The third one is other expenses. See point number B. It is 800 rupees for first 3 months and 1,500 for next 3 months. So two other expenses, 800 into 3 plus 1,500 into 3. So total is 6,900. Then comes depreciation. Now for depreciation, please see the question. There are two assets. First, in the balance sheet, see there is old fixed asset where the cost is 25,000. And question says that you have to count depreciation on cost. Normally we count depreciation on book value, but here it is specific information, so we have to count depreciation on cost. Now this fixed asset given in the balance sheet of December, it is used for 6 months. So we will count depreciation on it for 6 months. But the new fixed asset in point number E, it is purchased on 31st March. So it is brought into use from 31st March. So it is used for 3 months, that is April, May and June. So on old fixed asset, you have to count depreciation for 6 months, and on new fixed asset, you have to count depreciation on for 3 months at the rate of 10%. So here on old, it will be 25,000 into 10% into 6 upon 12. Please find out what is the depreciation. It comes to 1,250. And on new asset, it is 30,000 into 10% for 3 months. So it is 750 rupees. So total depreciation is 2,000 rupees. Now all the expenses are debited. Now find out difference of both the sides. The difference is 100 rupees, so the net profit will be 100 rupees to net profit, and it is transferred to balance sheet 100. So by this we finish trading and profit and loss account. Now if there is any doubt, please ask me, otherwise we will switch over to preparation of balance sheet. Now for preparing new balance sheet, take the figures of old balance sheet, make necessary changes and arrive at the figure of new balance sheet. First I am starting with liability side. See, the old share capital is 30,000, and during this 6 months we have issued new share capital of 48,100 to the chairman. So share capital old is 30,000 plus new share capital issued is 48,100, so total is 78,100. Thereafter, next is profit and loss account balance. It is 11,550, and this year's profit 100 will be added. So the profit and loss account balance will be 11,550 plus this year's profit 100, so 11,650. Then comes creditors. Now in balance sheet of December, those will be shown as creditor, which is the credit purchase of December. Now please find out what is credit purchase of credit purchase of June. In balance sheet of June, credit purchase of June will be shown as creditors. Now you can see that credit purchase of June is 20,000. So creditors will be 20,000. Next is outstanding expenses. Now there are two outstanding expenses. One is salary, 1/8 part of the salary of June. Please refer working note 1. In June, we have paid only 7/8 part, that is 2,625. So rest 1/8 salary, that is salary of 375, will be paid in July. So it will remain outstanding in the balance sheet of June. So salary outstanding is 375. Same way, other expenses outstanding is also 375. In case of other expenses, we are paying 3/4 of other expense of June in June, and 1/4 will be paid in July. So it will remain outstanding in the balance sheet of June. And last one is bank overdraft. See the cash budget. In cash budget, the bank overdraft is 4,500 in June. Now on asset side, first is fixed asset. old balance is 19,000 plus new fixed asset purchased is 30,000, so total is 49,000, minus depreciation debited in P&L account is 2,000, so outer column it will be 47,000. Then comes stock. It is given, and you can see from the trading account also, stock or closing stock is 18,000. Then come debtors. Now we know that debtors are given 2 months credit. So in the month of June, the outstanding debtors will relate to credit sales of May as well as credit sales of June. Now please see the credit sales of May and June. Both are 25,000 each. So debtors will be 25,000 of May and 25,000 of June. So total will be 50,000. Now please make total of balance sheet. This total is 1,15,000 rupees. By this we finish question number 3. Students may ask any doubt or query. I hope there is no doubt. Now please read question number 4. I am giving you 5 minutes to read and understand it. Thereafter I will explain you question number 4 and then we will proceed for the answer of question number 4. While reading this question number 4, please try to find out that which are sources of cash receipt and which are the areas of cash payment. Now all the students please pay attention. First of all, you are given one table which shows various items from October 2002 to March 2003. They are what is the monthly sale in each month including VAT. VAT means value added tax. Then wages and salaries, purchase of material, production overhead and selling and administration overhead. This data is given to you month wise and it is in rupees 1000. Now see the other information. Point number 1. It says that out of total credit sales, first of all the sales are on credit terms, and out of this credit sales, 60% of the sale is collected in the same month. 30% of sale is collected in the following month, means after 1 month, and 5% sale is collected after 2 months, and rest 5% is bad debt, means it is not collected at all. So we can say that the collection is 60% in the same month, 30% after 1 month and 5% after 2 months. Point number 2 says that for this budget purpose, in all the months you have to take 30 days. So this information is irrelevant whether it is given or not. For budget purpose, always we treat all the months as of equal days. Third, wages and salaries are paid within the month they are incurred, means in the same month. Fourth, creditors are paid in the following month, means after 1 month. So we pay for the purchase after 1 month of purchase. Point number 5 says that out of production overhead which is given in the table above, there are two parts. 35% of the production overhead is variable production overhead and 65% is the fixed production overhead. And this 35% variable production overhead is paid after 1 month. And this 65% fixed production overhead is paid in the same month. It also says that in fixed production overhead part, every month 1,64,000 rupees is the depreciation part. Now we know that depreciation is a non-cash expenditure. So out of total production, out of fixed production overhead, every month whatever we will calculate, 1,64,000 will be deducted because that is non-cash expenditure. Point number 6. Selling and administration overhead which is payable is paid in the month it is incurred, thereafter it is full stop and next sentence starts. It means the selling and distribution overhead is paid in the same month. Now it is said that in this selling and distribution overhead, rupees 15,000 is the depreciation part every month. So from the selling and distribution overhead, every month 15,000 will be deducted to find out the cash expenditure, because depreciation is a non-cash expenditure. Point number 7, it says that corporate tax is paid in January, it is 7,50,000, and point number 8, dividend is paid in the March, it is 5 lakh rupees, and on this we have to ignore the corporation tax. Point number 9 talks about the input tax and output tax relating to VAT. Now from this information we will find out what is the net amount of VAT payable. First let me explain you what is input tax. Input tax in relation to VAT means when purchasing input or raw material, if you have paid some tax, then it is called input tax. Suppose while purchasing input you have paid 20 rupees of tax. Thereafter by using that input, when you will produce finished goods and when you will produce output and when you will sell it, you will be liable to pay output tax. Suppose output tax or the VAT on the finished goods is 100 rupees, then out of 100 you have already paid 20, so now you will have to pay net 80 rupees. This 80 rupees is called net amount of VAT payable. So first we will count what is output tax every month, and from that we will deduct the input tax already paid by us, which is ready-made given in the question. Then the resultant figure will be the net amount of VAT payable every month. That we will find out by doing working note. Now please see the next point. It is capital expenditure, means purchase of assets in the month of January and March. Point number 11 says that overdraft facilities are available if it is required, and point number 12 gives you the closing cash balance of December, that is opening cash balance of January. Now on the basis of all this information, two things are required. Question A is preparation of cash budget for 3 months, that is January, February and March of the year 2003. So for January, February and March 2003 we have to prepare cash budget, and question B relates to theory that we will take up separately after finishing question A. Now in question A we have to prepare only cash budget, and for preparation of cash budget some working notes will be required. So first we will do those working notes. The first working note is regarding collection from debtors. In this question, if you will see point number 1, debtors are not paying the 100% amount in the same month. 60% are paid in the same month of sale, 30% after 1 month and 5% after 2 months. So first of all we will find out collection from debtors by doing working note 1. So please write down working note 1, collection from debtors. Now we have to find out collection only for the 3 months, that is January, February and March. Now make 5 columns, and here we write rupees in thousand. The first column is month of sales. Second column is total sales due, means this sale is on due basis. And then next is collection of credit sales in months of January, February and March. Please draw the format. Now we are given months from October 2002 to March 2003. So write down here October 2002, November, December, and then January 2003, then February and March. Now the total sales including VAT on due basis is 1,200, 1,100, then 1,000, 1,400, 1,200 and 1,100. Now, all the students please pay attention. Refer the rules of collection. In case of any sales, 60% is collected in same month, 30% after 1 month and 5% after 2 months. Now, see this credit sale of 1200, that is credit sale of October. If this is credit sale of October, then 60% of it will be collected in October itself, 30% in November and 5% in December. So nothing will be collected in January, February and March. I am repeating, please say it. This is credit sale of October. So 60% of this will be collected in October, 30% in November and 5% in December. Now we are not concerned with the collection of October, November and December. That's why we have not made columns for that. We are concerned with collection of January, February and March. So from this sales, nothing will be collected in January, February and March. Now take the case of credit sale of November. 60% of this 1100 will be collected in November itself, 30% in December. So for November and December collection we are not concerned. 5%, that is 55, will be collected in January. Now apply the same rule for December sales. 60% of this will be collected in December, 30%, that is 300 in January and 50 in February. Next, in case of sale of January, 60% will be collected in January, that is 840, then 420 and it is 70 in March. In case of credit sale of February, nothing will be collected in January. 60%, that is 720, will be collected in February. 30%, that is 360, will be collected in March. And the rest 5%, that is 60, will be collected in April. But we are not concerned with collection of April, so we have not made columns for that. Now, credit sale of March, nothing will be collected in January and February, and 660 will be collected in March, and the rest will be collected in April and May. Now, make total of only last 3 columns and find out what is the total collection of credit sales month-wise. It is 1195, 1090 and last one is 1190 and 1090. It is 1190 and 1090. This is total collection from debtors month-wise. 1195, 1190 and 1090. By this we finish working note 1, that is collection from debtors. You may ask any query. Now, I hope there is no doubt. So, please switch over to working note 2. If you will see point number 9, you are given information regarding output and input tax. So, now we will find out by doing working note that what is the exact amount of net VAT payable. So, working note 2 is net amount of VAT payable. Please make 4 columns. Working note 2, net VAT payable. First column is particulars and then 3 columns for 3 months of January, February and March. here also the rupees are in thousand. Now first we will calculate output tax. Please refer point number 9 of the question. It is said that value-added tax which is payable monthly 1 month later than the sales are made. It means for each month's sale, the output tax is to be paid in the next month. It means in January we will pay output tax on the month of the sales of December. So for calculating output tax of January, the sales of December will become base. Now the formula is output tax is 7 upon 47 of the sales including VAT. Now please see sales of December. Sales of December is 1000. So 1000 into this 7 upon 47. So it comes to 149. It will be payable in January. Same way for February, you have to take sales of January. Sales of January is 1400. 1400 into 7 upon 47. So it is 209. It will be payable in February. And then sales of February 1200 into 7 upon 47, that gives 179. So it is the output tax of March. Now from this output tax deduct the input tax, so less input tax. Now this input tax is ready-made given and it is 136, 125 and 121. 136, 125 and 121. Please refer point number 9. It is given 136, 125 and 121. So the resultant figure is 13, 84 and 58. So this is the net VAT payable and this will go to the cash budget. 13, 84 and 58. Students may ask the doubt if any. Otherwise we will switch over to the third working note, third and the last working note. I hope there is no doubt. So now please start working note 3. In working note 3 we will find out payment of production overhead. This production overhead includes two types of production overhead, fixed as well as variable. Please see point number 5. The variable production overheads are paid after 1 month and fixed production overhead are paid in the same month. And this fixed production overhead includes depreciation of 1,64,000 every month. So what is the exact amount of production overhead paid each month, that we will find out. So then on working note 3, payment of production overheads. And the rupees is in 1000. Make 4 columns, particulars January, February and March. Now please see point number 5. First we will find out what is fixed production overhead. This fixed production overhead is paid in the same month. So take 65% of same month's total production overhead. So here I run fixed production overhead, which is 65% of same month. As it is paid in the same month, you have to count 65% of same month. Now please see the total production overhead of January. It is 560. So make 65% of 560. It will be 364. Same way 65% of February. It is 325 and again 364. Please find out 65% of same month's production overhead. It is 364, 325 and again 364. Now this includes depreciation of 164, and depreciation is a non-cash item. So from this we will exclude depreciation. So write down less depreciation included. It is 164 every month according to the instruction given in the question. So whatever is the resultant figure, that is your cash fixed production overhead. So in January it is 200, March it is 200 and in February it will be 161. So this will be the payment of fixed production overhead, which is the cash fixed production overhead. Now in that we have to add payment of variable production overhead. But as we know that variable production overhead is paid after 1 month, so in January we will pay variable production overhead of December, and the amount of variable production overhead is 35% of total production overhead. So add variable production overhead, which is 35% of last month. So for January, last month is December, so count 35% of December's production overhead and it comes to 224. Then for February it is 196 and for March it is 175. So it is 224, 196 and 175. After adding it comes to 424. Then it is 357 and 375. So this is the total payment of production overhead month-wise. So this three figure will go to cash budget on payment side. By this we finish working note 3. Now students are requested to ask their doubts, if any. I hope there is no doubt. Now in the next lecture we will prepare cash budget, and thereafter we will do the theory of question B. So next time we will start with cash budget, that is answer A, and thereafter answer B, which is theory part. I wish good day to all of you. Thank you.